session. But before that, sir, we have to check the attendance according to our coordinator. I will be calling up the names on my end for the list of participants from the Philippines and kindly call the participants from your end. Could I start, Sir Saleh?
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Alright. So again, participants, just please say present if you're here for a while. Let me check the attendance. Arandia, Adrian,
Present po.
Arcilia, Lawrence,
Present po.
Arlante, Charlene, Arlante, Charlene, wala pa. Palagapo, Juan Miguel,
Present po.
Bulusan, Luis,
Present.
Cortez, Cassandra,
Present po.
Rose, Kyla, Rose, Kyla, she's not yet here. De Guzman, Colleen,
Present po.
Desiderio, Jose,
May
Desiderio.
lakad daw po sila.
I'm sorry?
May lakad daw po sila. Ma'am.
Wow. Okay. So, Gidzan, Jogi, SP9,
Present ma'am.
Gabriel Belgar,
Present po.
Belgar, Padua Mark,
Present po.
Roble John,
Present po.
Santiago Kayla,
Present po.
C. Nathaniel, C. Not yet here. Versosa, Sire, Versosa, not yet here. Villanueva, Evander,
Present po.
Virgo Luis,
Present po ma'am.
and last but not least, Villar Tom.
Present po ma'am.
Okay, if you have contact numbers of those who are not yet here, kindly tell them that they should attend because they are already being monitored. They can use their phone if they want to attend, even by just using their phone, for us to take note of their attendance. Thank you. Sir Saleh, you may now call on to your participants. Thank you.
Alright, I will call student from the PPIU. Bona, Chembona. Chembona. Chembona, are you here? No. Viseng. 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 No. Chan Sakada. Sakada.
Yeah, let's start. Yeah.
Okay. Crit. 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 Chiwon. 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 No. Sombon. Sambo. 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 No. Suchetra. 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 No. Okay. Cheng Lim. Cheng Lim. No. Chet Niao. Chet Niao. Sok Heng. Sok Heng. Sok Heng. Heo Fang. Heo Fang. Heo Fang. No. Mol. Mol.
Hello, teacher.
Okay, Sok Heng, right?
Yes, teacher. Excuse me because my internet is disconnected.
Alright, okay. Mol, are you here? Bun Seng. Bun Seng.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Sukau Odom. Sukau Dom. Kaudom. Okay. Nerit.
Yes, teacher.
Wait. Okay. Piti. 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 No. Net. Thai net. Net. Are you here, right? Net.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. And finish, ma'am. You can proceed, ma'am.
All right. So I'll be first discussing the cascading style sheet. So this is just a continuation of what we were discussing last time. So last time I talked about HTML while Sir Saleh discussed tables and frames. So now we'll try to have more styles and design in our website by using cascading style sheet. So let me share my screen. Alright. Can you see the slide now? Can you see the slide now?
Yeah. Some.
Alright. Sorry about that. Yeah, so today we'll be discussing cascading style sheets. So what is cascading style sheet? Before that, let's first discuss the topics that we will be discussing along the way. So this includes definition of CSS. We'll be styling using the CSS. We'll define also selectors and styles. We'll try to link our HTML and CSS because there is an external link and an embedded and an inline style. We'll talk about fonts, backgrounds, and borders. We'll talk about the box model, alignment,
Ma'am.
padding, C-index margin, positioning,
Sorry,
and
ma'am.
floating elements,
We could not
visibility,
see
display, and
the.
overflow. We'll try to embed the CSS in our HTML.
Sorry, ma'am. We could not
Okay,
see
so let's
your
first discuss
your
this.
slideshow, ma'am.
So why do we need to have a CSS? So in this part, you would see that before styling is embedded in our HTML document. As I mentioned a while ago, although we will try to present that later, there are instances wherein the styles are automatically included in our document, but there are also instances wherein you can separate them within our HTML code, and as well as we can separate them really in a separate file. Okay, we try to apply styling in all the content that we have in our HTML. Let's say, for example, you want to change the font size, the font style, the color, something like that in your text or in your content. Okay, so this is how we adopt that. So you will now try to have a more enticing page similar to this. So it's not just plain text that we see. And so let's now focus ourselves in styling with cascading style sheets. So again, what is cascading style sheet? For a while, Mr. Saleh, may I remind you to record our. I do not have the tool for
Uh,
recording, or are we
I'm
recording already?
I'm recording. I'm recording.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Again, going back, thank you, sir. Yeah. So again, CSS is cascading style sheets. So we used to describe the presentation of documents. We define sizes, the spacings, the fonts, the colors, and the layout, and many others using the CSS. We also use CSS for improving the content accessibility and also to improve flexibility. So we use this to design separate presentation from our content. So that is the use of the external CSS. So due to CSS, all HTML presentation tags and attributes are deprecated. There are HTML tags or elements before, such as font and center, that still can be used as of today, but when we say deprecated, they're really not of use, or we no longer practice using them because we really separate now designing and styling with the content, which is our HTML, with the CSS file, because that's now the practice nowadays. And the model view controller concept is already being used. CSS can be applied to any XML document, not just to HTML and XHTML. CSS can specify different styles for different media such as on-screen, in-print, handheld, projection, and even voice or braille-based reader. Because of course, we know that websites, especially nowadays, are not only used by us who can see and can hear, but there are also special people, even though they have disabilities or challenge people. Let's say, for example, they really not cannot see visually all the text, or all the, let's say they have the disability with their eyesight. There's a voice recognition, so sometimes we also embed that in our website. And with print, let's say it will a website will generate some reports, so that they can embed what we call the braille based reader. Okay, why cascading? So priority scheme determines which style rules apply to the element. So when we say cascade, for example, you're using a paragraph in your content in your HTML, and there are several paragraphs that is inside your HTML page. So every time that you design or style your paragraph in your CSS file, it will now be implemented in all the paragraphs, not unless you provide them with a separate definition. But the essence itself, that whenever you define some styling in a paragraph, all the rest of the paragraphs will be cascaded, or will take the implementation of that design. As I mentioned, yan, cascade priorities or specificity are calculated and assigned to the rules. And also, child elements in the HTML DOM3 inherits the styles from their parents. Although we can override them, meaning to say, since automatically the style is cascaded, uh, if there are cases that this particular paragraph, you will have to change the styling of that particular paragraph or heading probably, you can override. So meaning to say, you can define another set of rule in your CSS to apply that particular design. So yeah, that's the control via the important rule. So this is the scenario. Let's say you define something for your paragraph, for your header, you provided text indentions for your font and heading for your font sizes. So automatically, all the content in the paragraph inside your HTML will apply everything that has been defined in your CSS. But nonetheless, if you want to change them, you can always override them. Also, CSS styles are inherited, and there are instances that some are not. Text-related and list-related properties are inherited, such as the color, the font size, font family, the line height, text align, and the list style. While the box-related and positioning styles are not inherited. So meaning to say, if you have pages and you have, let's say for example, you apply margins and paddings with different let's say pages, so you have to put probably an ID or another set of definition for each. Okay, so these are those these are those properties, which includes the width, the height, the border, the margin, the padding, position float, and many others. As for the hyperlink, elements do not inherit the color and text decoration. Although, you can again set um, colors and hovering implementation in your hyperlink tag or the A tag. So how do we now create or what is the syntax for styling? So this is the syntax for styling or for implementing your style sheets. So style sheets consist of rules, selectors, declarations, properties, and values. So you could see here that the leftmost, this one, is the body. So meaning to say, this is just an example of a selector. Let's say you want to put styling in the body or in the page, okay, inside your browser in a specific page. So you call that as the body selector. And then at the right side, you now provide in curly braces, in an open and closed curly brace, the declaration of the things that you want to set. So let's say, for example, in this body, you want to set the color. So this color is the specific property that you will be addressing and provide a specific value to that. So in giving the value, you provide the colon. So again, the left side is the property, colon, and then right side is the value. Okay? If you will be defining declaration for a specific selector, you can separate them by comma. Okay? For example, in the body, you define that the padding will be equal to 1 EM. Padding is similar to a margin. We will have a discussion regarding that. As for the value, 1 EM, 1 is the numerical value that you assign. EM is a unit of measure. Okay? There are some, later on we will be defining what are those acceptable values, particularly for unit of measure. If you're familiar with inches, centimeter, millimeter, so that is similar to this EM. So it's a unit of measure. So again, the selectors are separated by comma. So in this case, in this example, we only have one select the body. But there are instances wherein you can define several selector with the same styling at the same time. So we have here at the bottom, let's say for example, you have several heading, H1, H2, and H3, and you want all of this heading to be of color green and the font weight will be bold. So this is how you define them. Okay? So you can just separate them by comma if you have several selectors. Another thing, declarations are separated by, as I mentioned kanina, sorry, I'm speaking in Tagalog. As I mentioned a while ago, if there are several declarations, let's say for example in this heading, you want the color to be green, and at the same time you want the font weight to be bold. So since there are different declarations, so you have to separate them by semicolon. All right? And then take note that the property and values are separated by colon. Instead of using equal sign to assign a value to a particular property, what we use here for the CSS or for the style sheet is the colon. Alright? Next. For selectors, so selectors determine which element the rule applies to. So there are three instances. First is you can use the elements yan, of a specific tag. Or you can also use either a specific attribute such as an ID or a class. Or there are instances wherein the elements may be matched depending on how they are nested in the document tree. So for example, if we are using the notation of dot and then a name, no space in between, this is an example of an attribute ID. So meaning to say, if in your HTML document you would see an rather this is a class. Sorry. The dot denotes the class. If there are class attribute for a particular element equal to header, that's the class assigned to that particular element. And at the same time, that particular header was considered as a hyperlink or was designed as a hyperlink, meaning it uses an A tag or a reference tag. Given these two conditions, then that's the only time that the color will be set to green. Okay? Another example. In this example, it uses the hashtag. Whenever you see hashtag in your style sheet, it means that in your HTML document, there is an attribute ID with this menu name. So in cases that it would see in the HTML a menu ID, this is how it would be implemented. Besides having an ID of menu, it will check if that menu includes a list. It's an enumerated menu. So this is how it was defined. Knowing that the menu is a listed type of menu or with an ID menu, then it will now have a padding top of 8 pixel. Okay, so this is just an example. Later on, we'll get to try that. Again, we have three kinds of selectors. Again, using the tag, excuse me, similar to this one, or by element ID. Again, in your style sheet, you use hashtag or the numerical symbol, and or a class name. Yan, like this one, we use the dot to define that in your style sheet. And then similarly, all else is the same. At the right side of your declaration, you put them or enclose them with open and close curly braces. And then you have the property, and then the value is at the right side of the column. If there are several declarations, you separate them by semicolon. In this case, in this example, border colon 1 pixel solid red, this is a shorthand way of declaring it. Okay, later on we'll try this as well. Selectors can be combined with comma. So just like in the previous example, wherein we separate common selectors, in this part, we're trying to combine a selector that uses a tag, uh, an element with a link class name, and as well as an attribute with an ID of top link. So if an element goes all of these three, that's the only time that it will apply this font weight be bold. This will match H1 tags, elements with class link, and element with ID top link. Besides directly assigning values to a particular selector, you can also add additional state. Let's say, for example, you want to put styling in the hovering of the hyperlink. Or every time it is visited, you will change, let's say, the color. Or every time the mouse hover that hyperlink, you can also set the size and the color to a different styling. Or if one link is active, or if you want to change the language, or you can change the styling whenever it changes the language, something like that. And so the elements define the element parts or are used to generate the content. Let's say in a paragraph, you just want to emphasize the first line. You want to change all the text transformation first line to uppercase. Okay, so you can use this state or before and after a certain paragraph. So let's say, for example, in this example, a hyperlink, you want to change the color whenever it is hovered. Whenever you put the mouse at the top of that link, it will now be color red. Let's say you have a paragraph. In your paragraph, you want the first line to be transformed in uppercase. So this is how you define them. Let's say again in a title or probably in some paragraph again, you you want that before that particular line, you want to have this symbol, two greater than sign. Or in another one, if there is a tutorial class, you want in that text that at the after displaying that text, it will have two less than sign, something like that. Right. So match relative to element placement. So this is another way to define. Let's say you want inside your paragraph there is a hyperlink existing. So that's the in this definition, the text decoration of that hyperlink will be underlined. Yeah, so this is the description. This will match all the A tags that are inside of the paragraph. Another one is similar to this one, asterisk, asterisk. So if there is an asterisk in this example, and this is called a universal selector. So this will match all the descendants of the paragraph. So all paragraphs and below it will turn into a black. But there's a note here, avoid or use with care because they might change the color of some stylings at the bottom. Other one is the plus sign. So the plus sign here is used to match the next sibling. So the description says this will match all the siblings with class name link that appear immediately after the image. So whenever it sees an image element and then right after that there is a link, now it will style it to be floated at the right. Another selector definition is using the greater than sign. So the greater than sign matches the direct child nodes. So if in case that it sees a class called error, so it will direct the children of the p tag and make the font size to 8 pixel in this example. If you are styling using the square bracket, so this will match the tag attributes using a regular expression. So in this example, we try to match all the image tags with an alt attribute containing the word logo, and it will have no border in our declaration. And if in case that there are classes, you want to match two classes, and in your definition, in your CSS, you do not have spaces, so that implies that it would match all the elements with both classes and apply the same styling at the same time. As for the values, so yeah, let's say for example, colors. There are, if you're using Visual Studio, in some cases there are IntelliSense providing us with the actual color to choose from. But in cases that you're using a different IDE, these are some of the values that you can use. You can either use a decimal value using the RGB format or the hexadecimal format. Take note that the RGB contains three set of colors, which is, anybody who knows what RGB is? Can I see, can I hear it from our participant? What does RGB means? Yes, Miguel? All right, that is red, green, and blue. So it combines those three colors to come up with a new color again. Okay. Or if you're not familiar with that, you can also set the actual color. Let's say you spell out blue, you spell out yellow, but in some instances you want to combine them, diba? You want to have a more variety of colors. So you can use hexadecimal values or the RGB. For setting of numerical values, again, we have different values. You can either use pixels, points, inches, centimeters, millimeters, percentage, or even use, let's say, if it's a box, you do not want to have a border, so you set it to 0. Okay, so that's how you apply that. Next, we have in our browser, sometimes if we do not set some styling, browsers have their own CSS styles. So we use only the browser only uses them if there are no styling information in the document. And take note that browsers have different styling or default styling. For example, they have different ways to provide margins, paddings, font sizes, font family, for example. So sometimes they vary. Again, you can opt to include your HTML and CSS both at the same time, or you can separate them also within the HTML, or you can also have separate files. Okay, so these are the three ways. The first one is the inline. So this is the most easiest way to style because you only simply use the style attribute inside your HTML. Okay, you just have to add an attribute inside the HTML tag. You do not need to provide selectors. Okay, but if you are expecting to have several styling, probably you opt to use the embedded. In the embedded, you put or you use the style tag. Okay, so there is a style tag. If you remember, we talked about that in the HTML basic wherein there are several tags that can be placed in the head. This is a subsection of the head, which is a style. Okay, so that's the second way. And the third way, which is the most used as of today, is the external way of defining your CSS. And since it's a separate file, it has a different file name extension. So in this case, you have the .css extension. And for your HTML to determine that you're using an CSS file, you will be adding also in the head section the link element. In your link element, you have to set some attribute such as the rel, which is equal to style sheet, a type, which is text slash CSS, and also the href, wherein the href will be the file name of your specific CSS. Okay? And there are also some instances that it uses the import directive, but some browsers do not already use import directive. Okay, for using the external files, again, this is the most highly recommended because it simplifies your HTML document and improves the page load speed as the CSS file is cached. They do not merge at the same time. They will only have the styling whenever you call the CSS. So it minimizes the loading of the page. So let's have this example. So in this example, you would see here, it will just simply have an HTML document. Inside this HTML document, we have a paragraph, and then it uses the style attribute. So this is an inline way of doing it. We do not have selector here, but instead, since it's already inside the paragraph, you just simply call the attribute style and then enclose in double quote the definition of your styling. So in this case, this paragraph will have a size of 20. Okay? And then another set of paragraph, this time besides having 20 as the size, it adds color to it. So when this is run, so this is how it would look like. So the first paragraph will just be a simple text. The second paragraph and the third paragraph will have separate styling, but it's inline. The first one will have a larger font size because it was set to 20 points as compared to the first paragraph, which is only a default. While the third paragraph, besides having the same size as the second one, it added colors to it, so it became blue. So this hexadecimal value is color blue. With regards to precedence, meaning how they are being evaluated. So in the browser, you will use an important declaration. So this is in opposite. I'll start with the first priority are those with the user styles. So if there's a user style, normal and let's say for example external, embedded, or those two, that's the most important priority. Then second, if there are author styles, then that's the next priority, and then the third one would be its it has the head or the inline styling. And then next is the normal user style, and the least one is the browser style. Meaning to say that you did not included any styling. So it will just simply use the browser styling. Okay. CSS specificity. So the CSS specificity is used to determine the precedence of the CSS style declaration. So in this case, you can go to this site to determine them. These are just recommendation. So in this example, there are instances that it first matches the ID, then the class, and then if there's a pseudo, additional attribute, the square bracket, the tag, and the asterisk. So that is how it was ordered. For the embedded style, so we're done with the inline. Let's now proceed with embedded. Before we proceed to the embedded, let's first have an example so that you'll get to experience the difference between the three. So let me open my Visual Studio. So let's have a demo for that. Let me stop sharing my slide first. Let me share my entire screen. Okay, this was the example that we had last time. Let's have another example. Let me close this first. Okay, so let me have a new file. Can you see my screen now?
Yes po.
Okay, so I have named it as test4.html. So let's have the output. I will display the output here. Let me maximize this first. So in my HTML, let me have first forgot the head, sorry. Is the title, I forgot the head. The title should be inside the head. Sample inline style. Okay. And then we'll, of course, we'll have the body. Inside our body, let's say we'll put which one, sample inline style. And let's put some paragraph here. We'll try to create a paragraph again using our Word. I think we can use the run instead of lorem. Okay. Instead of lorem ipsum, there's another option. You can use run paragraph, run function rather. You can use this inside here. There. So let's say, for example, we do not have yet a styling. So let me save this and let's open this up in our browser. So let's say I'll use it here and then change the name. So this is just a plain. So it just uses the default styling. Okay. But what if I will now be using the inline? So in using the inline, I'll provide some styling directly on my H1. Let's say I want the color to be, and this is what I'm talking about. There's already an IntelliSense that can provide you of the different colors. And you can just manage to select one and then save and then can there. So it already applies the styling. So this is what we call inline. You can also do that in your paragraph. You can just set a style. Let's say you just want to to change the font size. Let's make it. And there's already a defined large, larger, medium, small. But you can also use what do you call this? Numeric value. Let's say, for example, we'll try the medium one. So let's save this. So from this text, let's see if there will be changes. So let's refresh this. So I think there's no effect. Let's try the larger one. Try the larger. And then let's try to save it again. Then there. So it is now much larger. Or you can also use a numeric value. Let's say 18 pixel. So I'll save this and then refresh this again. So this is how 18 pixel would look like. Let's say I want to add more. I'll just be separating them by semicolon, and then let's say I want to add font color. And it's only color pala, not font color. Color, let's say, I would lang. I think we should use comma here. Say the color would be blue. Let's try this one. So I now have two styling in my paragraph. I set the font size to 18 pixel and then make the color turn into blue. So this is how it adapts for the inline. Alright, so let's now try the other one, which is the embedding style. But before we try that, I hide. Let's first go back to our slide. Let me share that again. Can you now see my slide? Can you see the slide now?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's now proceed with embedded styles. For the embedded style, this time, you have to use the style tag or element. And then you place this style tag element in the head section. Okay, so take note, you place this in the head section. So use this for document specific styles. So this is an example of that. So inside your head section, use this style. And then you provide the type, which is equal to text/CSS. And then this time, you now provide all the settings that you want. So this is where your declaration type is being done. Okay. So you now have here at the left side the type of selector. In this case, this is an element or a tag, which is M, H1, P. But for this part, that blue is a class. Okay. So in this definition for the M, whenever it sees a paragraph or probably some text which uses an emphasis tag, the background color will be set to this color and the font color, that's how I find mistake. And then for each one, whenever it sees H1 in your body, it will use either of these two, what do you call this, font family, the Arial or the sans serif, whichever is available. If you use paragraph, in this case, you will have to set the font size to 18 points. And then whenever it sees an element with a definition or with an attribute class of blue, it will change the color to blue. So this is the beginning of the style element and this is the ending. So again, you put that inside the head section. So how do we now apply this in our body? So if this is your body, so this is an example of an attribute with the class blue. So since this is H1, we have a definition here of H1. So meaning to say it will either use Arial or sans serif. And at the same time, since it has the class blue, it will apply also this styling. It will now change to blue. So you would see in the display, the first heading is colored blue. This one, a heading. And the next, the paragraph. So in this paragraph, it is just a simple heading. It will just be set to 18 points. So in the output, it doesn't change the color, but it's in 18 points as the size. The next we have here another H1, but this time it doesn't have a class definition, a class attribute rather of blue. So it is just a simple H1. So the styling that it will only apply is the font family, which is either sans serif or Arial. That's why this heading doesn't contain any color or does not change the color. As for this besides being a paragraph, it has a class of blue. So meaning to say, it will apply the font size 18 and will turn it into color blue. That's why the paragraph here, this one, is in color blue and 18 in size. And finally, for the last paragraph, it's also a paragraph and at the same time has a class of blue. Again, it will apply font size 18 and at the same time it will color it into blue. But you would see that inside that paragraph, there is a text called more and it uses the M tag or element. So meaning to say, that particular more word would apply this styling. It will change the color to this color, the background color, and at the same time, the color on how it is was typed would be white. So for the output, so it's a purple. It's not a blue one. So it's a purple color and it was emphasized. That's why it's italicized and the color of the text is white. Okay, so that's how you apply embedded style. So let's now try that. All right, so let's try that. So let me share my entire screen again. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes po.
All right. So I will just use the same file. So inside this body, I'll try to create a new text. Let's say I'll use H2. This is a sample embedded style. Okay. Then I'll put some paragraph again. This time, I'll just be copying this one. Inside this paragraph. And then, sorry, I click on the wrong button. Let me share again. I was supposed to hide, not stop sharing. All right. And then, I'll put some class name here. Class only. Say, I'll change this to white. I'll name this as white. And this time, I'll now have inside my head section the style element or tag. Inside my style element, I should have a type attribute with the value text / CSS. Oops. Should be enclosed with double quote. There. Then inside my style, I will now have set of styling. Let's say I have my P paragraph. I'll be changing this to, I'll be commenting out first line 10 to 15 na. So to comment, you use less than sign, exclamation mark, 2 dash, and then this is the ending of the comment. Ay, it doesn't apply. It should change color. Let me try that again. Let me run that. Alright. Okay. So let's now try to style. Wait. This is a sample embedded style. Okay. So this is the right example. So this is that part, 17 to 23. Okay. I will now set some styling using the style or the embedded style in the head section. So for the paragraph, let's say I'll change this to the font size to 18 points. And I'll change the color to, say, Alice blue. Then I'll set the background of my body, background color to, I'll try black. And then what else? Wait. Not Alice blue. I'll change the color. Since I named the paragraph to white. Okay. The color of the Alice is good. So I'll just change the class name to Alice. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the color should be Alice. You can name it in any other name if you want. For example, you name this as class 1. Okay. So it doesn't matter. So let's say you do not, for other paragraph, let's say you will set that to simple white. And then for the class, I will set that color to Alice blue, for example. Let's say, for example, I have here another paragraph prior to this without the class name. The only implementation it will do is this one, line 6. While for this paragraph, besides setting it to 18 points, it will override this color to Alice blue. Let's check if there's a difference between them. So let's save this and then let's try to apply it here. Let's refresh this time. Oh, we have a problem with our H2. Let's put some styling in our H2 because we cannot see the title. Let's turn that color, say, bisque. Okay, let's refresh this again. There. So this is now the bisque. You would see, let's change the color. Let's try this to use another color because let's try yellow na lang so that it will be more visible. Save and then there. So the first paragraph is yellow because it applies this styling, line 7 for this paragraph. While for this paragraph, since it has a class name, class 1, it will apply the color to Alice blue. It overrides the first setting of color, yellow, of the font to Alice blue, which is similar to, in a way, white. Okay? And then the font size is 18. If I will be changing also the size, oops, sorry. Say I'll be setting a different font size. Here, let's say 14 pixel. Try to change this to much smaller, 10 pixels, 10 point, 14 point. Save. Let's refresh this. There. So the first paragraph is much smaller because it has only 10 points, while the second paragraph has a larger size, which is 14, and the color is Alice blue. Okay? So again, the styling came from the embedded style, which is the style tag or element. Do you understand? Do you have any questions so far?
None po, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, let's now proceed. Let's go back to our slide. Okay, so that's how embedded style works. Now let's go to external style. So this is now linking. So we separate the pages that can all use the shared style and only modify a file to indicating the file name of that separate file. All right. Previously, there are instances that instead of using an external file, rather link, it uses the import directive. But again, old version of browsers do not recognize this import directive. Okay, that's just another option. And let's say you have this example. So this is a separate file. So let's say, for example, you name this as styles.css. And then inside this styles.css, you have the following definition of styling. You have an A element as your selector. You have here an A element still, but this time it uses hovering. So whenever it sees a hyperlink, and then you try to put your mouse over, so it will have a different decoration. It will have an underline, it will be turned into red, and then a background color similar to this one. And then inside your page, let's say you have a list, and then that particular list will include a certain text that is emphasized or italicized. It will change the color into red, and the font weight will be bold. If in case that you have an ordered list, then the setting of the margin at the left will be 2 centimeter, while if there is an unordered list within another unordered list, the text decoration will be underlined and a margin of left will be 0.5 centimeter. So there will be an indentation. So let's say you save this already, this styling. Then now you have your HTML file. In your HTML file, all you have to do is to provide a link element. Then again, you should have a type, a rel attribute with a style sheet value, and then the reference. What particular file name will you use? And since the file name of this CSS file is styles.css, so you have to provide that name here. Provided that this HTML file and this CSS file are in the same folder. Because if they are in different directory, you have to indicate that also here. Let's say you have a separate folder for your styling, so you should include the folder name of that. Otherwise, the styling will not be implemented. Remember that HTML does not tell you that you have an error. You forgot to put the location of that file because it cannot apply. Okay, HTML doesn't will not guarantee that or will not tell you that you're missing something here. Okay, all right. So yeah, the actual output would look like this one. So let's start with the first line. So in the first line, shopping list for Monday, that is an H1. So based on our definition, is there a declaration in the CSS for H1? No. So simply, it will just have a plain shopping list. But if you would notice, there is a Monday word. In our Monday word, again, there is an M. Is there an M element in our CSS? Actually, there is, but it's not inside a list so that it won't apply the color red and font weight bold. That's why it was retained to black. Okay? So in short, the first line doesn't have any styling implementation. Next, we have the following list. In the list, you would see here a milk and a bread, a rice, potatoes, and pizza. For those main category, the milk, the bread, the rice, and potatoes, you would see here that the implementation, again, there's no setting for the list. But the unordered list, it only has this margin. So it implemented this styling. Margin left is 2 centimeter. That's why you would notice it's kind of indented. So there's a 2 centimeter indentation. And then next we have inside the bread, an unordered list is another define. So meaning to say, um, sorry about this should have a UL. So a UL within another UL. So this is a sub list. So meaning to say, the implementation will be using this one. So the text decoration will be underlined and a margin of left of 0.5 centimeters. So when you check on that, the white bread, the rye bread, and the whole wheat bread have underline setting. There, the text decoration is underlined and the margin left is 0.5 centimeter. That's why it was also indented. Okay? And then next, how about for the rice and potatoes? There's no setting. It just uses the one with the underline. But in this last part, the pizza, where in the pizza, besides the word pizza, it has with mushrooms and it uses the element M. The styling that would take effect will be this one. The list, with an M, it will change the color to red and font weight to bold. That's why here, pizza and the word with mushroom is italicized because it uses the M element and at the same time implemented the styling of color red and font weight bold. That's why it's bold and color red. All right. Next, the last part is a hyperlink. A hyperlink which says go to the grocery store. In this part, if we would check again the styling, for a hyperlink, there's no text decoration, none. But whenever you hover them, it will have an underline, it will change the color to red, and have a background of this one. That's why in this image, you will see that the mouse is hovered over this text. That's why the background color it turned into green, the font color turned into red, and there is an underline. So it just simulated this styling, the hovering style. Text decoration underline, color red, background of, so this color is green. All right. Question so far? You have question? None. Okay, so let's try to apply this one. Let me stop sharing again and share the entire screen. Alright. Okay, so let's use this example. I have to create a new file. Okay, so let's say I'll have a new file, test5.html. And then I will try to create, and actually I already have here some styling that I have set, styles. Okay, so in this part, I have set the background color. I will maximize this first. The background color to this color, the bisque. So the body will be colored bisque. Then a paragraph would set the padding left to 5 em and the color is blue. And then I have here some additional settings for the paragraph wherein if it has, whenever the paragraph, of course there will be first letter. For each paragraph, the first letter would be floated to the left. Font size will be much bigger, 45 pixel as compared to the usual text. A line height of 1, a font weight of bold, and a margin right of 9 pixel. So let's try to apply this in our test5.html. So I'll just borrow some of the things that we have here. I'll just be copying and pasting it here, but I'll try to remove the style embedded. And of course, we'll have to change the title. So this is sample external CSS style. And then let's remove the comment part. Let's try to remove also the inline style. External CSS. Okay. I won't remove this anymore. Sige. Okay. Sige, I'll just retain this and then I'll try to apply that also here later. Okay. Let's add see. Let's try this one. So let me save this file. Wait. We forgot to include in our head so that it will apply this style. But before that, let us first try. If we forgot, let's say for example, the link element. Let's look at the output of this one. So let me change the file name to test5. Test5. There. So this is just a plain text. Okay. So if we want to apply the CSS styles, which is external, in our file, in the head section, we have to add a link element. In our link element, you should provide a type attribute which has the value text/CSS. The next, duplicate double quote. Then another attribute called rel or relationship. This is a style sheet. And then another attribute called the href. So you have to provide the location and the file name of the CSS external file. In our case, the name of our file is styles.css. And then you have to close it, of course. Okay. So, and then save it. And then let's try to implement that in this example. So I just have to refresh this. Tada! So this is how it was implemented. So I have a color of bisque as my background. You would see here I have 3 paragraphs. So this is the first paragraph. This is the second paragraph. And this is the third paragraph. In my styles, the only thing that I have for each paragraph, I have a padding left of 5 em. That's why you would see that there is some spaces in between in my padding left. It's similar to a margin. While my another setting of paragraph, this time first letter. So if you would notice, this is like floating at the left. It has a font size of 45 pixel as compared to the other. It is much bigger. It is in bold, a line height of 1. What else? Font weight is bold, and then a margin right of 9 pixel. That's why it is kind of indented. Let's try to add more. Let's put some styling in our in our heading. Let's say for H1 and H2. Let's say I can put it anywhere provided it's enclosed with curly braces, the declaration. Let's say H1, I'll just be having the same setting for H1 and H2. Let's say the font, color, or the color rather, instead of font color. Color equal to I do not like the black one. Say brown. And then let's put something in our paragraph. Let's say we'll use M. Say in this part, put emphasis up to here. So this phrase, I'll put emphasis. And then I'll put styling. Let's say the paragraph. I put it here, or I can put it at the bottom. So just to put some spacing. Let's say P with M. A declaration would be color, say red. Try this red. And then what else? Font weight. Let's put some font weight to full. So let's save this. Let's try to refresh. Now it applies the color for H1 and H2 to blue, rather brown. And then for the paragraph that has M, oops, you see, it was not implemented. Where is it? P with an M. Sorry. Save. I have to save also the CSS. Then let's refresh this again. It doesn't apply our M. Why? Let's try to put it here. Save. Something is odd. I'll try to remove the paragraph. I'll just use M. That's why we're at the bottom. That's why I didn't see that. Let's try that again. Still, it applies. But what if there's a separate M without the, let's say for this title, say I'll use M. It's H1 but with M. Let's say in my style, I will have a separate M definition. For my M, I will color it to say blue violet, and then on family, I'll use Korean. Save that. There. So this uses the M styling only. This is at line 5. Purple or blue violet is the color. It uses the Courier New. Yan, Courier New. While this one, this color red, since this is inside the paragraph, it applies this setting. The color now is red and the font weight is bold. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. What else? Let's use some hyperlink. Let's put some hyperlink here. Let's say, wait, let's add a class since I have it there, a class. Need the class name class 1. I'll change the font size to smaller. Color to, since our background is lighter, we have to use different. I'll just use blue violet as well. Yes. Let's try to put some hyperlink here. A. I am a hyperlink. And what I would include here is a hyperlink going to let's refresh this page. There. So look, this is a hyperlink. So whenever I hover my mouse, tada, so it has a decoration, it has a transformation to uppercase. Everything here is in uppercase. And then it is now an underline decoration and the color is red. But whenever I remove my mouse over that text, it to original form. But then again, when I hover, There. So it changes the color, the decoration, and it transforms everything to uppercase. And when I click on that, it will open a new tab and will open the previous example that we had last time. All right. So that's it. Do you have any questions so far? Do you have any question? Not yet done actually. Those are just examples. Thank you, Sin. Okay, so let's have more. Okay, so these are just, we had already examples. You can explore on these different properties. So again, for color, you can specify the color. You've seen that. There's an intelligence in Visual Studio that you can choose colors from, or you can use the decimal or the hexadecimal values. For font sizes, again, you can put numeric values, you can put extra small, double extra small, medium, large, larger, etc. For font family, there's already also a built-in or intelligence that would allow you to choose from the varieties of family, Verdana, Royal, and combination of those. For font weight, there are also choices for normal, bold, bolder, lighter, or a numeric value. Type of font, you can have normal, italic, or oblique. For the text decoration, we have used a while ago underline, or if you do not want any decoration, you can set it to none. You can have line through, overline, or blink. For text align, you can have left, right, center, or justify. You can use the shorthand property, meaning to say instead of having this one, you can set it directly like this one. So, font style italic, variant normal, weight bold, size 12, height 16, family Verdana. So instead of having 2, 4, 6 lines, you can do it shorthand. Okay? For background, a while ago we've used background color, but you can also change that to an image. So if you choose an image, you have to provide URL, meaning to say you have to provide the image from where it was located, and of course the file name. If the same directory, you do not have to specify the direct location. It will just simply look for the file name. Again, with background color, go background repeat, meaning to say if you're using an image, if to be repeatable, you can set the repeat X or repeat it, do not repeat. Background attachment, it's either fix or scroll. Probably you have seen some website where in their background, whenever you scroll, the background is retained. Okay, so meaning that's fixed. But whenever there are instances also that whenever you scroll the page, the background also goes with you. Okay, so that's you set it to scroll. Background position, so it specify either vertical or horizontal. For vertical, you have top, center, bottom. For horizontal, you have left, center, right. Both can be specified either in percentage or numerical value, such as this one. So you can set background position to top left, background position to negative 5 pixel or for 50%. Again, you can use the shorthand for background setting for the color, the image, the repeat, attachment, and position. Or you can again use color. Take note, instead of, you cannot use both. Browsers will not apply both color and image. So you just have to choose one. I also suggest that. Again, for the measurement, there are different units of measure. You can either use an absolute measurement or a relative one. For absolute, these are your choices: centimeters, millimeters, inches, picas, points, and pixel. For relative, you can use M, CH for character, and rem. Rem is the size font defined on the HTML, which is 16 pixel by default. While 1EM is the current font size of the current element. So, meaning to say it is based on what it is already in the default. Okay? Again, for background images allow you to save many image tags from the HTML. It leads to less code, more content-oriented approach. Yan. All images that are not part of the page content are only used for beautification and should be moved to the CSS. For borders, in case you will be needing borders later on, you have border width. So your choices include thin, medium, thick, or you can set a numerical value. For border color, again, you can use color alias or RGB. For border style, you have options none, hidden, dotted, dash, solid, double, groove, ridge, inset, and outset. For each property, this can be defined separately for left, top, bottom, and right. There, this is an example. Border top style, and then you can set probably all the borders you want them to have different colors and sizes. You can set them separately. Let's say, for example, the border width is 1 pixel, color is red, border style is solid. Or you can use the shorthand rule again. Okay, or if you do not want to have border, you can set it to 0. Width and height. Width defines numerical value for the width element, such as 100 pixels. Height defines the numerical value for the height of the element, such as 100 pixels. Again, by default, the height element is defined by its content. In height, unless you change their display style. Let's say, in our previous example, in our we use a floating first character, di ba? First letter rather. Margin and padding. So margin and padding define the spacing around the element. So you can either use numerical values such as 10 pixel or negative 5 pixel. This can be defined for each of the 4 sides separately. Let's say you want only a margin at the top, so you can manage just to choose margin top or padding left. Take note that margin is the spacing outside the border, while padding is the spacing between the border and the content. So let's say have this box model. So let's say, for example, this is your content. So and this is your border. The space between the border and the content is called the padding. While if your reference is you want to have a margin at the edge of that page, so you use the margin instead of padding. Okay? So you can set a margin. If you only provided one value, it means that all the 4 sides will have a margin of 5. If you set 2 values for the margin, it's implied that you are defining that the top and the bottom is 10 pixel for the first value, while the second value is for the left and the right. If you have 3 values for the margin, so the first value is for the top, while the second value is for the bottom, is for the left and the right, and the third value is for the bottom. While for the margin, you will have 4. If you will have 4 values, meaning to say that all the sides or all the sides of the margin will have different setting. The first value will be for the top, 3 pixel is for the right, 5 pixel is for the bottom, and then 7 pixel is for the left. So take note that it uses the clockwise arrangement. So from 1 going to the right, 3 going this is bottom 5, and then to the left 7 pixel. Same rule applies if you will apply that for the padding. Okay? Positioning. So this defines the position of the element in the page. So sometimes you can have floating elements. So the value are the following to choose from. You can use static, which is the default. You can have absolute and fixed. For relative, this is according to where the element would appear with static position. For absolute, this is according to the innermost position parent element. And for the fixed, this is same as the absolute but ignores page scrolling. Comparing margin versus relative positioning, fixed absolute position elements do not influence the page. Normal flow and usually stay on the top of all the pages. other elements. And position and size is ignored when calculating the pen and proper position of surrounding elements. It overlaps what we call the Z index. Inline fixed or absolute position elements can act like block level elements. You can also have this values. The top left, bottom right can have absolute or relative. C index is a stock level of position element. You can have similar as one. Example, in this way, A1, let's say this is A1, and A2 children of or both. And additional clearing floats can be performed in the div element. Clearing of the floats can also have additional values such as colon after. And you can have set the content, display to block, clear both, and then hide. Alright. And opacity, size of the element, floating point number from 0 to 1. Visibility determines whether the element is visible or not, because there are some cases that you want to hide values. If that is still hidden, element is not rendered, meaning to say they are not visible on the page. But if it is visible, which is the default, yan, everything is rendered normally. For display, this controls the display of the element and the way it is rendered, and if breaks should be placed before and after the element. So values includes inline and block. So if it is inline, no breaks are placed before, similar to span. And for block element, you use, they provide breaks are placed before and after the element. Example of that block display element is the div. Additional for display, controls the display of the element and the way it is rendered, and if breaks placed before and after the element. You can have the value none, so meaning to say it's hidden. Some more possible values will be depending on table cell and table row if you're using tables. So this defines the behavior of the element when content needs more space. Can be visible, which is for cursor. You can help program move here, color. The mouse pointer can be changed. So this is the cursor. We call that as cursor. White space controls the line breaking of text. Value can be no wrap or normal. No wrap meaning if the text is very long, it will have a scroll bar at the bottom, which is the default. The default is the normal one. It breaks the line for the page. Okay, and then if you want it to have only in one line, that means it's NORA. Okay, so again, the benefits of using CSS, it's more powerful formatting than the usual than using presentation tags. Your page loads faster because the browser is cached in the CSS. Every time that you do not need them, it will not be loaded. Increase accessibility because rules can be defined according to the given media. And finally, pages are easier to maintain and update. All right, I think that's it. Do you have questions? None? Okay, I'm now giving you the floor. Now giving the floor, virtual floor to Sir Saleh to discuss additional things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Alma. Do we need a break for 5 minutes or we shall continue?
Yes, teacher, we need a break.
A break.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. All right.
Yes, teacher.
welcome back to our session. Alright, now we are at week 3. So my part after will be focusing on the best practices for web design. So it is just short sharing from my side, from my presentation. So the presentation is about how can we do a good practice for web design. Okay, so our focuses will be, actually we have a lot of things to focus about web design, but what I would like to focus, there are 3 things which are layout, BMS. What is that? What is the BMS? We will look for it. The grid, and we focus on, we will discuss about UX and UI. So the UX and UI, we will discuss about navigation and copywriting. So, and the last topic that we will focus about colors. Okay, how to choose colors that will be used for your website. Alright, first of all, layout. Okay, layout is the important element for the website. Okay, layout can use to uniform elements and spacing to encourage consistency across platform, environments, and screen size. So when you are doing web design, when you want to start the okay, so recently my network is there is something wrong. Okay, so for layout, it's very important because we need to design the layout according to the devices. The devices is mean the platform or environment that user will open our website. Okay, so as you can see, there are several types of layout nowadays. So I have seen your assignment, collaborative task, you already finished about the wireframe design. This is what we call layout as well. Okay, so there are several types of layouts here. You can have your own design of your layout. You want to put where there is a logo, navigation, header, banner, sidebar, body area, and footer. This is the common elements for designing a website and how to determine your layout. Okay, alright, what is the big BMS? Okay, what I would like to focus here, BMS, it means big, medium, and small. Okay, when you design a layout, you have to we need to consider which element is a big element, which means the main focus on your website. Okay, and the medium elements, this is the next element that user will that you want user to see. Okay, and also the small elements. I would like to give you this example from this website, safechildren.org. So if you can access, you can go to this website. As you can see, what is big here? Big elements here. You can see the image. Okay, you want user, you want visitor to visit your website, and this is the main focus of your website. Okay, because this website is about save the children, right? So this is the main concern of your website. The next element is the medium things here. This is your information. It's not information, I think this is your headline, right? Your headline. And small elements is donate today. Okay, so when you want to design a website, you need to consider what do you want people to see first. Okay, so the information that you want to see, that you want people or visitor to see first, okay, make it big elements like this. This is the big concern of the website. and the next one may be some information, headline, and after that the small elements here. I think this is applied for any design as well, even the poster design as well. Okay, and there is another website from UNICEF. Okay, what is the big element here is this picture. Okay, and the next concern is Ukraine response. Okay, and the small element is read more, like this. Okay, and another website, Go Get Funding, is a fundraising website. Okay, this is the big element of your layout. Here is the paper here. Okay, when they got donation from others, okay, they will feel happy, and their life can go on, something like that, right? And the medium element here is, I think, this text, right? Powerful personal fundraising, something like that. And the small elements here, the fast, easy, and trusted by million create your page for free. So this website is like some kind of platform where you can create your own project of fundraising. Yeah. Okay. And another thing that we would like to focus here, when we design a website, we call grid layout. So grids, normally for the website, we will divide columns into 12 columns. So as you can count here, 1, 2, and the pink element, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 columns. Okay, if you actually, there are many types of layout actually, but I would like to introduce this grids layout. And we can use also what we call tables for layout as well. Okay, so where your content will be, okay, your content will be in this purple or blue color here. This is your content. Okay, you should follow the grid, the columns, like this. Okay, if you need 3 columns of your content, so you will take the grid maybe 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. This is the contents. We will see more example. Okay, so in the grid layout, we have some elements that you need to know. We call columns here. This is columns, okay, for the pink color. And then we call gutters. Gutters mean the space between each column. Okay, but inside this grid, okay, inside this column space. So we can also set this space as well. Okay, by using CSS from what you have learned from the mem Alma. Okay, and another one, side margin, or we can call also outside gutter, like this. So which will this mean your side margin, which, okay, from the what we call the web browser. So this is the side margin, and your grid will be at the middle. Your content will be at the middle of the screen of the web browser. Okay, so this is grid layout, but we will see this one in the next class. I will show how to use this one. Okay, but this is for our information, how to create a good web design. Okay, all right, this is, I give you an example here. Okay, this is the, I think what this is the how to apply grid. Okay, so we have the space of information here. Okay, after we apply grid, you will see this is your layout will be like this. So it look like more systematic. Okay, so for the first line of the information, okay, there are 2 columns here, 2 message box here, or 2 comments maybe here, or 2 feedback from your website. You want that to you want your website to be displayed 2 comment, okay, 2 comment from your audience, something that maybe you connect your website from Facebook, okay, and there will be comment from Facebook and then appear on your website. Okay, so they apply grid here. So how many column that they use to in order to create uh, two message box here. Okay, so we have 6 column, right? We need 6 column in order to create 2 columns output here. Okay, and the rest also, if you want 3 column message here, 3 boxes here, you can use 4 columns, right? And if you need 4 message box here, you have to use 3 columns of the grid. Okay, right. And this is also another way, another example of using grids. Okay, so we need to have 4 columns in order to create one contents here. Okay, you need to, if you want 3 contents to be displayed, or here you need to divide by grid. Okay, like this, right? And this is the same thing, but inside the column or 4 column, you apply some margin here. Okay, alright. So this is not good practice for using grid. So you design
Can you see me? There.
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
hello.
okay. While waiting for Sir to share again his screen,
Okay,
may I share with you a link for our attendance?
alright.
So I have created a Google form for the attendance for today. Kindly fill it up. Sir Saleh may continue. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for network problem. Right.
No problem.
Okay, so this is let's continue about layout by grid. Okay, so this is not good practice for using grid, where you put some information which is not inside the columns. Okay, this box is some of area is outside the column. Okay, like this. Okay, and another one is about the picture here. So when you want to use grid and insert picture, try to do like this. Okay, make it full what you call space of using this column, right? Okay, and this is the example, the website that use grid for their design. Okay, so they use 12 grids, 12 column for this one, and this is what they got from the from using grids as their layout. Okay, right. So this is about layout. Okay, about layout for designing your website. Okay, so we focus on first of all the big, medium and small elements, and another one we will use grid for our layout. Okay, design. Now we will go for UX and UI. UX and UI. Okay, before we go to UX and UI, okay, if you are in the park, okay, and you see something like this, which number you want to choose? Which number do you prefer to walk through to another side of the park? Can you type it in the comments? Okay, Luis number 2, Jens Number 2, right? Okay. Most of you maybe answer number 2, right? I think it's a correct way of, but actually in the reality no, in the reality it's not like that. The reality will be like this, right? So you design something for the user, but the user experience is not follow your design right? So this is what we call what we can get from the example. Okay, when you design something, it's not confirmed that user understand your design, your web design. Even you put fantastic image, good image, good layout, but that design is according to the designer. But actually for web design you need to concern about visitor, user, or viewer of your website. Okay, this is the example of user experience and user and designer. Okay, so what does it mean, user experience? Okay, what task for the UX designer? So UX design is a human first way of designing product. Okay, and UX apply to anything that can be experienced. So you use UX design is the process of developing and improving the quality of interaction between user and all facet of the companies. Okay, UX design is the theory, in theory non-digital practice, but used and defined predominantly by digital industry. Okay, UX design is not about visual. Okay, it focuses on the overall feel of the experience. Okay, so I think the last sentence is important. Okay, it's not about designing the visual, but focus on the overall feel of the experience. So what about UI? UI means user interface. Okay, so user interface is focusing on visual or graphical side of design. Okay, UI designer will have knowledge of graphic design, strong typography, maybe strong programming language, and CSS that we have learned, HTML also. Okay, this is the task for UI. Okay, UX and UI will work together. One people can work both of them. Okay, if you know the UX, you can also work as a UI designer. Okay, this is the example for the UX and design definition. Okay, so UX will focus on interaction design, wireframe. Okay, what we have learned, what we have done last week. Okay, prototypes, information architecture, user research and scenarios. And what about UI? UI will focus on visual design, colors, graphic designer, layouts, okay, and typography. This is the task for UX and UI. Okay, but some of you may be familiar, maybe able to do UX, but but some of you able to do UI. Some of you maybe can do both of them. Okay, so in the for web designer, for web design teams, we have several tasks. Okay, so for the UX and UI, we want to focus on navigation and copywriting. Okay, so navigation is important for designing website. When people go to your website, you are able to deliver the message of the website. Okay, so the navigation enables user to move through webs and apps. Okay, It's not like when people go to your website and they lost, they don't know what to do next. Okay, this is important. So navigation normally we can give example as the menu buttons. Okay, for your website, you can see the for button for menu you can put icon for people to assist people to understand your website. Okay, so the important thing of you doing navigation here is your sitemap. Okay, you need to draft your sitemap first. Okay, after before developing the website, so you need to know which button goes to which page, something like that. So sitemap is important. Okay, so you will see the overall of your website. Okay, alright, like this website. Okay, maybe you can go to the website and see how they put the menu. Okay, you can see who we are, what we do, where's to help shop, give catalogs and give the impact, and also donates. Okay, you can see here their navigations design like this. Okay, so if people go to these links, if they want to know who they are, so just go to this link, something like that. So from this navigation, okay, and also you can go to this website and see their navigation button here, their navigation menu. Okay, if your website is for donation, so you just highlight the donation here. Okay, so when people go to your website, open your website, they can click this button and do donation directly. Okay, they don't need to find where is the donation menu. Okay, and also this one for UNICEF website. Alright, from this navigation it leads to another job of the one of the job of web designing teams, which is copywriting. Okay, copywriting is a process of writing digital content for your website. Okay, for example, this is very important. Okay, this is very important. Copywriting consists of the words either written or spoken marketed to use to try to get people to take action after reading or hearing them. Actually, copywriting, there is also a job for copywriting we call copywriter. Okay, their job is to simplify the information on your on the website. Okay, as you can see on your mobile phone, there are many apps like Food Panda. I don't know, you have Shopee application on it in Philippines. So those menu that written those menu that written on your apps applications, those things the job of the copywriter. Okay, like here. Okay, we work in the hardest to reach place where it's tough to be child. Okay, this is the task for copywriting, the task for copywriter, to write some word, some sentence that want people to take action like this. Okay, like join us to learn how you can help make change for the children. Okay, this is the task for the copywriter. So in your team, maybe some of you have the ability to write some sentence that can attract user to do some action according to your website types. Okay, right, and this one also, I think this one, and also copywriting we involve like menu. Okay, how to write, how to put the word for menu, where we work, funding. This is task of for copywriter. Okay, like tag, hashtag here, Okay, this is also their task for the copywriter. Right, and you can go to more website. Okay, the last thing that we are going to cover is color. Okay, how can we uh, choose color for your website? Okay, very simple. Okay, actually website will look uh, uh, I mean feel good when you choose the correct color. Okay, so there are three principles that I can conclude here for choosing color. First, okay, you choose dominant color. Okay, what your website main color will be that or will use. Okay, and the next one, after you have one color, you choose two more colors. Okay, and after that you apply 60-30-10 rule. Okay, we will see the example, right? And maybe this one you can apply to your project as well, right? Okay, and all things that I have present, you can apply to your project, to your website project. First, choose first color, which means the dominant color. So here I choose blue color. Okay, my website will be blue color. Most of all of my on my website will be blue color. I will use blue color for my dominant color. Okay, after that you choose two more color for your website. Okay, this is my dominant color, this is my second color, and third color. Just two more colors, which means I will have three colors on my website. I will use only three color for my website. Okay, after that, okay, go and apply 60, 30 and 10 rules, which means, okay, your primary colors will be 60% of your website, and the secondary color will be 30% of your website. You will use 30% of the second color, secondary color to your website, and you will have the accent color. Okay, 10%. Accent color means the color that you want to highlight, for user to take action, something like that. Okay, and you can see this example also. They use their neutral color is like some kind of gray, white, light gray, and secondary color blue, and third color will be 10% primary. So this primary, or maybe 10% of this color, will be your highlight button, something like that. Donate now, as you can see from the previous website. Okay, and this is also another example. For example here, okay, this website is a white colors, it's not white color, it's like light gray color 60%, and dark color or black color 30%, and 10 color for the accent color. You can see the output like this. Okay, so the website totally like what we call light gray, something like that, and for 30% of the color is a text and also the menu. Okay, and 10% color of the color here, which is maybe purple or blue, will be like call for action, call now, or highlighted as the menu, okay, for your navigation. And then like some button here, read more, learn more, something like that. And we can go more. This thing also can apply for your application design, for your app design also. So green color is their primary. Okay, they will use green color 60%, secondary color 30%, and 10% will be dark color. Maybe 10% is for their text, something like logo, their purchase button here. Okay, add to chart button, something like that. Okay, this is another example. Okay, 60% of white color, 30% of green color, and 10% for highlighted, for highlight color, okay, for orange. Right. So also you need to know the meaning of the color: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, browns, black, white. I will attach this one or in our classroom. You can have a look. So you can choose. If you choose orange, what you feel, what people will feel. If you want to make your website secure, informative, like Facebook, they use blue color, right? Something like that. All website that regarding about IT, most of them that regard about the technology, most of them are using blue color. Okay. Now how to choose color? Okay, we can go to Adobe Color. If you want, if you let's say you don't have idea, you don't know how to match the color. Okay, how to match color, you can go to Adobe Color. Okay, where is Adobe Color? And there are many websites provide color matching for you. Actually, I give you the overall example first, and then I will left link. You can try by yourself. Okay, so the website that can help you to choose correct color, like Adobe Color. Okay, my color space. Okay, my color space. You can put your favorite color here, and then they will generate the color which is matched to your to your favorite color, to your dominant color. And you, after that, you can choose 3 color, 2 color more, okay, from this website. And also this is also color.co, okay, and we call Platon color design aspiration. This is the website that can help you to choose the match color for your website. It's not that for web design. You can use this one also for your poster design, okay, graphic design, something like this. Okay, so I think that's all for today. This is the website that I will leave you to explore. This is about fundraising site for non-profit and individual. You can go to this website and study how they put their design. Okay, for example, I give you the UNICEF. Okay, UNICEF, the main color is white, right? The dominant color is white, and the secondary color is blue. Okay, but the highlighted color also blue. Maybe they have like red color for accent color, this one, right? And you can go to this website, Save the Children. Okay, the dominant color is white color, and orange or red color for secondary colors, and also accent color is red also. So there is also dark gray, like this, for their website. As you can see, they will use only 3 colors, not more than 3 colors. If you use more than 3 colors, maybe, I don't know, someone can it depends to your ability. Okay, but normally we use not more than 3 color for your web design. All right, so I think that's all for today. Maybe I will proceed to the next session, the next things. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm here.
So now I have finished my presentation. So maybe we can proceed to the next agenda.
Okay, so our next agenda is probably for you guys to present what you have been collaborating. We were checking on your communication, and it seems that you're really very excited to your project. Although it's not yet final, you could apply what you have learned today, especially the one that was discussed by Sir Saleh. This is the business situation, and of course, all of those things you can apply to the things that I've also discussed in the CSS. So you could uh, collaborate with your team as well as to apply all the learnings that you have acquired today and of course the previous discussions. Anybody who wants to share their work?
Uh, Now we have 7 teams, right? Maybe they can share what they have done uh, for their project. Yeah. Let's I call maybe one by one, right?
Probably there is a volunteer.
Okay, you.
If there's a group who wants to share their work, probably.
All right. May we have volunteer? Maybe Juan.
Volunteer. You can still improve on your initial work if it's not yet final. We understand. Probably have gotten some idea based from the things that we have discussed today and you have not yet implemented that to your task. That's understandable. Any volunteer groups? Guys?
All right. Group. Which one? Integrate. How is it? Integrate. Are you ready to share the group from group 2?
Hello. Hello.
Integrate. Yeah. You can share your screen and tell us what you have done last week for your project. Maybe
Okay.
just 5 minutes, right? Per group.
Okay. Can I share screen?
Of course, you may share your
Sure.
screenshot. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Here, can you see our wireframe?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so the topic for our website is about eco bricks. And here in the first part, will be our home page. So the squares will represent pictures and the lines will represent words. So this is just a not yet final, not yet the final thing that we will do, but it is a somewhat version of it, a prototype. So at the top, we will have the name of the website, and then on the right side, the tabs that the website will have, such as about EcoBreak, about us, frequently asked questions, and submit. Then the following wireframes here are just examples of each tab, which is the EcoBreak page, the About Us, which is mostly about words, so is also the frequently asked questions, and the Submit. The Submit tab is more interactive as people can submit their information or they can submit their work. And that's all. Thank you.
That's very good. Thank you, Nat.
May I ask you what is the website about? EcoBrick?
Yes, EcoBreak.
Can you give?
What does EcoBrick
What does
stands
it-
for? Is that an acronym?
Uh, EcoBrick is like an actual brick, but instead of using cement, it is non-biodegradable plastic. So it's like you're using the plastic that is destroying our environment and using it as building materials.
I see. Okay. Good.
Where did you get the idea, if you won't mind?
From our previous school, from my previous school.
You're already doing that.
Yes.
May I know your group mates? Nat?
In UST, it is Adrian Arandaya and Skyla Cruz.
From
In
PPIU?
From PPIU, it's Putterfeng and Teyan Nirarit. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce their name.
Group mates, can you say hi?
Okay. Can you say hi? Group
Hello,
mates?
That's... How do you pronounce your name?
my name is Pot Salfan.
Oh, have fun. How about the other one? Okay, thank you. Who else?
Thank you.
You have 2 group mates from PPIU and 3? You're 3 from UST. Is that right? Not?
Yes, we total of 5 members.
Okay, thank you. Can we have the next group? Is there a volunteer?
Okay. I8. Group 5. Can we have I8? Group 5.
Hello?
Yes, John, please.
Yes.
Wait lang po.
Lang po is Tagalog.
What does it mean, Marco? Waiting?
We use po to for older people. It's a sign of respect.
I see.
You say po or opo when you say yes to an older or to somebody in, like us teachers.
Like sir, man, like this, is it?
Not exactly. It's a phrase already that shows respect
I
to
see.
somebody in uh, in an older age and in authority,
I see.
but usually in an older age. Are you ready, Mr. One?
Yes po.
Okay, you may include. You may start. May include.
So, our group name is IA. So, the goal of our website is to
Probably
Let the-
in slideshow. You can present using the slideshow. There. Present. Okay.
So our group name is I8, and the goal of our website is to allow the viewers or the audience to see available volunteer work. So here is the login or register. So here they have a sign in button or sign up button, and they can also log in using Facebook account or Gmail. And then here is our homepage. So on the upper part, there is the navigation. So they can go to the volunteer, host an outreach, contact us, and about us. So in the homepage, it contains featured news in which it is linked to articles about our recent work and organizations, and so on. And so if they click the volunteer button, they will actually go to the volunteer page in which it has this available volunteer work. So here they can see how many volunteers they need uh, and what volunteers are already complete. And then they can also host an outreach. So here they can insert an image, a title, description, requirements, and then they can also set the options to private or public. Sorry about the
Perfect.
background noise.
It's okay. Your dog wants to present as well.
Sorry po. And they can post it, and they can also contact us using this information like the email and message. And then lastly, the about us page. You can wait. This is actually the contact us, and this is the about us page. They can there is also a link to our bio, so each member is here, and the description for it. So that is all po.
Thank you, Juan.
Thank you.
Who are your members, Mr. Balagapo?
From UST po, we have Luis Ivan Virgo and John Vincent Jogi. From daughter school po, we have Dan Sochetra. Sorry if I
Okay.
I'm here, teacher.
Okay, can you introduce your name again? From PPIU.
Dan PPIU po. Dan Sochetra and Chiborn.
Did you pronounce it right? Suchetel. How do you pronounce that?
Almost, teacher. Suchitra.
Suchetra.
Suchitra. Yes, almost, teacher.
Suchetra. Okay, thank you, Suchetra.
Sorry.
Who else?
And Chiborn.
Chibon.
Yes, teacher, it's me. My name is Mao Jibon.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
Let's have another group.
Anglo. Can we have Anglo group 1? Algo, right? Sorry. Algo.
Whose group is ready? There, Mr. Padua.
Hello. I'm Mark Francis. Sorry. Here is our wireframe website design, which is called the Community of Eco Electricity, and it is still incomplete. We haven't think of any yet about our descriptions. Here's our page 1 of our homepage. Page 2 of our donate. Also, we forgot to put some mini. Yeah. And page 3, our project. And page 4, what we do. And about the team, maybe and also contact of us of our last page. Our SDG is 7. I forgot the title.
What is SDG 7? Mr. Padua.
Sustainable Development Program, affordable and clean energy po.
Okay. Who are your group mates, Mr. Padua, from UST?
Cassandra, Cortez, and the other one is I apologize po. John Andre Rob Lepo.
Okay. How about from PPIU? Can
Yes,
they introduce themselves if you're having difficulty pronouncing their names?
The other one is Keo.
Pardon
K-
again.
Keo Chansakada.
Is he here? Are you here?
uh, I'm
Roman.
Rương Ramor. Rương Ramor
Okay.
teacher, and one more name Kelchan Sakada.
Okay.
I'm Burhan Saleh.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
that's your team.
the name of the
Sir Saleh is one of your group members. Sir,
Sorry.
how was that? How come you're part of the team?
I just checked the GC.
All right. Thank you,
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Padua.
Okay. May we have
Next group, please.
outliers? Huh? Outliers. Group 3.
You may stop sharing, Mr. Padua. Who else? Are there groups?
Okay, Sambo, I think your group. Outlier. Sambo, right? Sambo is there? Sambo, are you here? Or Emochi? Emochi? Yes, Emochi is a outlier group. Can you share your presentation?
Anybody from the team? Guys,
Hello.
go ahead.
Wait, I'll share screen po.
Okay, sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So we haven't came up with the name yet for our organization, but we planned for our outline design. So on the upper left, we will put here the logo of our group, and on the upper left, the navigation, the home, programs, about us, and contact. Here we can see the name of our organization and some slideshows of features and a description. The programs, about us, the vision, the mission, and objectives, and the description. And lastly is the form, which is the contact us, the name, the email, the subject, and the message. So that's all for now po.
All right. Who are your group members?
From the UST po, it's Cyrus Villar,
and Colin de Guzman
Okay. From
from
PPIU?
the. I, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce the name.
From
Maybe
It's
Tito.
non Samba. Yes, sure.
from PPIU.
Are they here, sir?
Some of
They're
one of them has problem with his laptop mic.
disconnected.
Okay.
Well, it's alright. Who else? Do you have two members from PPIU? Who is the other one,
Who
Lawrence?
is another one from PPIU?
Sorry, chef. I can hear. Yes.
There. It's
Yes.
Sambo.
Okay.
Non small.
Non Sambo.
Sambo.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next group, please.
May we have group 4, Synergy. Synergy, group 4.
Wait a bit po. Can you see the slide now?
Yes, you
Hi.
can say it now.
Uh, Good evening. We are Group 4 Synergy, and this is our Warframe. So the first page is the home page, and this 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 section is the main web page that draws in visitors and serves as the user's primary navigation page. The home page includes the brief summary of what the website is all about. Um, the next page po is the about page, and this page is generally a description page where the users are able to visit to learn more about the website itself, specifically like its purpose, vision, and goals. Next is the initiative page, and this page lists all of the programs and activities that can help the website's mission. It is an informative page that shows the users how it will aid in the achievement of its goal. Next is the volunteer page, and this section shows different programs that volun- that needs volunteers as it encourages users to choose to volunteer to help the organization in their programs. And next is the donation page. This page is different with the volunteer page because this guides you on how to donate to the organization and to its programs. And lastly is the contacts page. And this page presents the users the following information on how to contact the organization, its location, and how to message them. So that is all po for our wireframe.
All right. Who are your group mates, Lawrence? Sorry, Mr. Villanueva.
Um, from the UST po is Charlene Arlante and Jose Dandic Desiderio.
All right. How about from PPIU?
Perol, Crit, and Bunseng South.
All right. Can we now proceed to the next group, sir?
I think the last group, right? G and H and S, group 7.
Hello, is my mic clear? Po?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, you can see it.
So here, our organization is called We Learn Education on Wheels, and it is not yet final because,
It's okay.
to be honest with you, ma'am, I'm the only one who did this wireframe because my group mates are not we haven't really collaborated because nobody was replying to my message.
Oh,
So I
that's
decided
sad.
to do it myself.
We'll
So
have
here
to talk
here
to
is
your
the
mates.
So We Learn is a nonprofit organization that aims to help children who are incapable of studying in a traditional classroom setting. Um, so here is our homepage. It contains all the information about our organization. It contains our story and our mission. Next, if you click here, it will go to the news and media tab. Uh, it contains all the programs and activities that are featured in the news and media. Next, if you hover your mouse cursor to this program tab, you can see the drop down menu of our list of our programs. Then if you click on the programs, it will transfer to the programs. Here you can see the program number one, its images and the informations about our program. You can also click on the image to know more about the program. Next, if you click here, it will go to the program number two. Then for the next tab, here's a donation tab where the user can donate to our organization. Next, here's a fill up form for those who want to volunteer to join our organization. And lastly, here is the contact and the contact of our organization. That's all po.
Thank you, Mr. Bulusan. I think, sir, we have to talk with the group in a separate session, probably before next meeting.
Okay.
Probably they have some miscommunication
All right.
towards the project. But nonetheless, thank you very much, everyone. For is there other group or we're complete now?
Yeah, we are complete now.
All right.
Oh,
So thank you so
We
much.
haven't presented yet.
okay.
Sir,
Sorry.
there's another group.
Sorry. All right.
Thank you, Alain. Sorry for that.
Sorry for that.
So you may now share your screen.
You are from integrate, right? Group 2, isn't it?
We're from group 6.
Group 6. Oh, okay, sorry.
6.
Group 6. Oh, red goal. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Alain, are you sharing your screen?
Wait. We're just organizing some things first.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We're from group 6, red gold. Our initial will be our initial wireframe for our website start, which means striving towards advancement in resources and knowledge. The main purpose of this website will be to centralize all the possible links and contact information for people to be able to help different organizations and foundations, especially those that cater to the educational needs of Filipinos and Cambodians specifically. So for now, we have a total of 4 pages: the homepage, about, app, and latest. In the about web page, we will be placing our vision and mission as well as our goals as a group, as well as key facts about the website. For the app, web page, we will be listing different contact information about different organizations, as I have said. regarding the ways on how people could help these foundations in fulfilling their visions. And last but not least, the latest, wherein we will be posting different programs and news about the ongoing and upcoming projects of different organizations and foundations so that people will be able to keep track of how they can help these organizations. That's all, and these are the members of Group 6 Red Gold. Thank you.
All right. Elgar Espina Santiago. Sir Saleh, how do you pronounce that? Sokhaudom? Sin? And Sheng
Is
Lim.
they here? Are they here?
Are they? Are you here?
Can you pronounce your name, please?
Han Sheng Lim.
My name is Pan Chenglin teacher.
Okay. How about the other?
How is your friend name? Is still here? I think he's not here.
Probably not. Okay, that's okay. Are there still group who haven't presented yet? None?
I think all are presented. I think.
All right. Since everyone have presented, probably we'll have the next meeting's discussion. You could improve the designs that you have for today. And we will provide you with additional guidelines so that you'll be guided regarding the project. And I have already uploaded the HTML presentation as well as Sir Saleh, the last meeting's presentation, and probably I'll just be adding the slide that I have used as well as Sir Saleh. And also I forgot to include the samples that I had last time. I'll do it tonight when I got home. I'm still in the office. Okay. So do you have questions for us?
Is there any questions?
None. So if none, sir, do you have anything more to say to them?
Okay. Good night.
Good night. That's all. Thank you. Good night. Bye, guys. See you next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Good night
The
po.
attendance, do not forget the attendance to fill it up.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
It's in the chat box.
Sweet dream, teacher.
Sweet dreams also.
Good night. Okay.
Goodbye,
night.
teacher.
Take care.
Bye. Bye, sir. I'll go ahead.
Okay, bye, man.
Bye.